All right. So here we are, Bert. A week, 2 weeks from today is the NFL draft, and by the way, the beast is out. John, you have something.
Well, no, you were kind of build upon the NFL draft point. I was reading something from Daniel Jeremiah yesterday that said, while this draft is very top heavy, Bert, obviously people are talking about Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter, and Cam Ward's going to go in the top three, but then you just throw the rest in a hat in different tiers. Daniel Jeremiah said, yes, it's top heavy, but all teams should be able to find 3 or 4 starters out of this draft. Do you agree with that?
DJ actually said that to me a couple months ago, and I thought it was a good line. He said, it's not a star draft, it's a starter draft. And so what he meant by that was that you're going to be able to build kind of maybe the guts of your team, which is a good – I mean, it's –
really good thing for this team.
It's a good thing for the Patriots because they have 4 in the top 100, right? They've got the extra pick from the Matthew Judon trade in the 3rd round. And it's why, like, I love Abdul Carter. I think Abdul Carter would be – and he's not perfect, but I think Abdul Carter would be the ideal guy for them. Now, like, he's like a little bit of a different guy, which a lot of pass rushers are. And there's this thing.
Explain. What do you mean he's a little bit of a different guy?
I mean, like, I don't think he's going to be the captain of your team. You know what I mean? Like, but I do think in
that he's reclusive, he's quiet.
He's just a different guy. Yeah, like he's just like, and I don't think he's.
Is he like a fun different?
I don't think he's a bad guy, but he's a little edgy. Like, you know, and that's the way a lot of guys that play that position are. They are different. Like the guy that he's compared to a lot, Micah Parsons, is a different guy. Another guy he's compared to a lot, Von Miller, is a different guy. Like if you look at guys at that position, like they are a lot of times different guys.
Well, so too mean to be a captain.
The other thing, the one actual physical flaw that he has is they have this thing. This is like one of those newish like things that they calculate and has been like put into the data with everything else, which is lean body mass. And if a guy at that position has a lower lean body mass, then he's considered more susceptible to injuries. Abdul Carter has lower lean body mass for that position, and he's already been hurt a bunch. Like, so he has the shoulder, he has the foot. So that'd be one of the concerns. But, I mean, this guy's dynamite. Again, like the Von Miller comparison is one I've heard, just as far as his explosiveness in his first step. So if there's a way to get him, then that's great, and I think that's the ideal scenario. I don't think that I would trade up for him, though. And I know that's going to sound weird. The reason why is because I think it would probably take 2 of your 3, at least, 2 of your 3 day 2 picks. In other words, you'd have to get knocked down from having 4 picks in the top 100 to having 2 picks in the top 100. And I just think this team needs more good players.
Well, there's no question
with
about it.
With a lot of starters out there that you can use.
With the Patriots, it's not a question.
Right.
I mean, the only thing you would want to add picks. There's no way you want to take picks away. If there's a lot of starters in this draft, like John said, you get 4 starters out of the draft, they're starting. Like, you know, if a team is going to get 4 starters out of this draft, it's the Patriots,
right?
Because there's much more than 4 openings on this team. And even if Travis Hunter was to fall to them, and they took him as a corner, he'd still start. I mean, I know you signed a corner in free agency. Your best player is a corner, but you know he'd still play.
Start.
I mean, and again, like even with Hunter, like there are still questions with Hunter, which is his size, and like is he going to hold up if he plays both ways? Are you getting the most out of him if he's not playing both ways? The comps are great. You know, like the 3 comps I've heard for him as a receiver are Stephon Diggs, Devontae Smith, and Garrett Wilson, and that's awesome. That's awesome, right?
Yeah.
Like, but
isn't Garrett Wilson tall?
Is that a guy you take with the 4th pick? No, Garrett Wilson's 6 foot. Garrett Wilson's around the same height as
He's just very lean, I guess.
Yeah, he's lean. Yeah.
Yeah,
and so is Travis Hunter. Like, and so is Diggs, and so is Devontae Smith.
In answer to your question, yes, I do take him. If he's that wide receiver,
and yeah, I would too.
I absolutely take him.
I would too. He's just not. But generally, like if you look at the receivers that go that high in the draft, Jamar Chase, Calvin Johnson,
it's fine.
But I'm just saying that's what it is. Like that if there's a flaw, that's what it is. But those guys those 2 guys are so far above the rest of the class, and that's why I think it would be complicated trading up anyway. Because if you're the Giants or you're the Browns, don't you look at it and say, well, we view the 4th pick this year like we would have viewed the 15th pick last year.
Right.
So we need a lot. If we're gonna, because this isn't like us going down 1 or 2 spots. This is going to feel to us more like going down 10 or 15 spots.
If you were sitting at 4 and you took Ted McMillan, if you want to talk about a wide receiver,
yeah, I would do that.
He's all over the place on people's boards. Like, he's all over. Like, people got him low in the first round. People got him the 4th-ranked prospect on their board. Because you talk about the top 2. Some people got him 4th-ranked prospect on their board.
Yeah, I don't think he's for them, for the Patriots, for what they're trying to build.
Okay. Just his attitude.
Not his attitude. I just don't know. He's another one where you look at him and say, like, okay, like, he's a different personality. Where's his foot? Like, with Carter, there's no question about his football character, right? Like, he wants to, like, he is a badass out there, and he wants to be the best player and all of that. Like, with McMillan, there's a little bit of, you know, is he going to be the toughest guy out there? Like, there's just like those sorts of questions, and like, is he going to be kind of a guy who can set a tone from a work ethic standpoint? And I there's a few of those, you know, and like, so that's why I think, so I still, if I had to put my money on it right now, I'd say it's Walker or Campbell.
John is the one who said to play breaking sports news.
I think it's worth
with Toucher and Hardy. Bert was saying, like, this is annoying. I'm sitting on a tweet, which is ridiculous that's the way you guys have to operate. Not that you have to wait to put out a story, that you have to wait to put it on the most idiotic medium in the history of the world.
I know you hate Twitter.
It's awful. It's bad. It's not only something that I don't like. It's legitimately bad for people. It is not a good thing. It's a very, very, very negative thing.
All social media is, though, to some degree.
To some degree, but not as bad as Twitter. It's a think tank for people so idiotic that it's dangerous.
It's kind of like becoming like
a white nationalist thing. Yes,
what MySpace was, right? Like at the end, remember when like MySpace.
Okay, let's get to the breaking news.
Yeah, so Abdul Carter is going to be with the Patriots on Monday.
Ooh.
It's interesting in that he only has planned to take 4 visits, which, makes sense. Like, because he doesn't want to, and this is something we saw with Marvin Harrison last year, where Marvin Harrison didn't do medicals at the combine, and like his logic was, I don't want to give every team in the league my medical information when I know there's no way I'm going to fall out of the top 5. So why would I give the other 27 teams in the league all of my medicals? Why would I do that?
Why would that hurt him?
Well, because like you're going to be a free agent in 4 years. You could be a free agent in 4 or 5 years.
But wouldn't they want medicals then?
Yeah, but then like, I mean, there could be like, let's say you had like a knee injury that resolved itself. You know what I mean? Like, then they wouldn't have the back. They wouldn't like go back like, well, what about that knee injury?
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, so there's like little things like that, like where it just, there's not a huge benefit to giving the rest of the league all your medical information. You know?
Okay, so
now, but it only works for guys like that sort of strategy. Only works for guys at the very top. Because if you're going to be a 2nd or 3rd round pick, you want everybody to have it. You know what I mean? Like you want everybody to have as much information as you can give them. So like they don't have to go hunting around for it or think you're a pain in the ass. Anyway, so Carter's strategy has been to I'm going to limit like the amount I'm traveling around. I'm going to limit, because he does have the medical. Mm-hmm. I'm going to limit the amount of team doctors that are going to get a look at me. I don't need to give everybody everything. And I think it's, like, again, like this is sort of like an athlete empowerment thing to some degree too, where it's just they're handling the other side. They're all handling this like a business. So I'm going to handle it like a business too. And I'm not going to just, open the gates for absolutely everybody, including teams that have no shot at getting.
He is supposed to meet with the Giants today and tomorrow, according to Adam Schefter, but still meeting with the Patriots on Monday.
And he met with Haslam, right? He's the one who met with Haslam,
yeah,
right?
So Haslam went to dinner So what was interesting about the way the Browns handle it, which is another kind of smoking gun that they're not taking a quarterback, with the second pick, is that night they had the owner, Jimmy Haslam, the GM, Andrew Berry, the owner's son-in-law, who's an executive vice president, out to dinner in State College with Abdul Carter ahead of his pro day, which he wasn't even working out at. But the head coach wasn't there. Stefanski was in Mississippi to go see Jackson Dart throw at his pro day. And Jackson Dart isn't going to be the second pick in the draft. So, like, that tells you what they're looking at doing is taking Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter at 2 and then turning around and maybe getting a quarterback on the second day.
Which leads us to the question that is enthralling me.
Yeah.
Is, of course, where Shedeur Sanders falls. Which the first team that you would think could take him is, I know Vegas is having him in or something, but
Next week,
they're not going to take him. Vegas isn't taking him. Just yes or no, Vegas not taking him.
I don't think Vegas takes him. I don't think the Jets take him.
No, the Jets will not take him, but the Saints.
The Saints are the one where you look at maybe I had somebody say to me yesterday that like they think Shedeur, whoever takes Shedeur, it'll be an owner-driven thing, which was an interesting point of view.
That's not good.
But I look at it like I think if he falls out of the top 3, there's a chance he falls all the way out of the first round.
Could Jackson Dart get taken ahead of him?
Yeah, I think the NFL views Shedeur Sanders closer to Jackson Dart than they do to Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward is seen as separate now from the rest of the quarterback group, and I think Shedeur Sanders is much closer to the pack than people realize. And look, like I think part of this is, again, like you have all this crap, and you guys know how I feel about this, but this guy's skyrocketing up and this guy is falling down, and that doesn't work that way. It's like all of us catching up to the way these teams really feel about the guys. Most of the work is done in the fall. If you're really falling or rising this close to the draft, it's probably because somebody put out a video of you in a gas mask.
Yeah, right. And then you become this like all-world player. Yeah. It's Tunsil, right?
Yeah.
Tunsil, and then he just goes like, "Oh, I'll be the best. I'll be the best left tackle in football."
And so like I think ultimately, I think the Browns wind up with Hunter or Carter. I think the Giants take whichever one's left, and then like I think Campbell and Walker to me are the 2, because I think the reason I feel that way is because from a character and makeup standpoint, they both fit what Vrabel wants to a T. Walker, I have heard, has been like almost like a coach in his meetings, right? Like he's gotten into.
He's the Georgia
edge rusher. I've heard he's been like somebody said to me, it was like I was watching a defensive coordinator. And Kirby Smart, obviously, like they ask a lot of those guys. It's for people who don't know, that was Nick Saban's right-hand man at Alabama forever, runs the Georgia program. And so, I like Jalen Walker, a Swiss Army knife, versatile. Like I think Vrabel might see a little of himself in Jalen Walker in just kind of the makeup and the character. I had somebody say to me yesterday on Will Campbell after they met with him, they were like, I think Vrabel's going to ask that guy to move into his house.
Oh yeah, people like love that kid.
I'm not, and I'm not, of course, not against having like good character guys and stuff like that. But for a team that needs so much, can they play?
But if you have Hardy, if you have a dozen guys, right, that you like view as okay, so Carter and Hunter are separate, but you get past those 2. If you have a dozen guys that are like relatively similar, and that's a tiebreaker, I don't think that's a bad thing.
Give me the one with the biggest upside. Let that be.
And I think that's Walker too. I think that's also Walker.
Okay, fine.
Like, I think Walker's the upside guy. I think Campbell's the guy where, like to me, and I made the Brandon Sheriff comparison, which 10 years ago, he was a tackle at Iowa. There were questions on whether or not he was a tackle. He went to training camp, got his ass kicked in Washington's training camp by Ryan Kerrigan. Washington decided, you know what? He's a guard. Morgan Moses was actually the guy who beat him out at tackle. And he's made 5 Pro Bowls and was the highest paid guard in all of football for a while. So, like, I think if you draft Will Campbell, you start him at left tackle. You have to be comfortable with that scenario, though.
But your worst case scenario you're saying is you get an elite guard.
Right.
Okay.
And I think that's what that is. Where with Walker, it's And that's the thing is you're compromising on all these guys. His size, Walker's size is the question.
Mm-hmm.
But go back and so the tackle from Texas.
We really don't have time. But he ruined his draft stock. Yeah, you told that story before. Yeah, you've loved Jalen. You've been on Jalen Walker the whole time.
Yeah.
And I heard something about his teammate Mikael Williams that he's not going to get out of the top 10.
He looks like he was. That guy looks like he was built in a lab to play defensive end. Like if you look,
he had like 5 tackles last year, but everyone loves him.
There's no production.
There's no production.
But it's like, and Shamar Stewart's another one from Texas A&M, where if you look at him, it's like, oh my god, like he like legitimately looks like a science experiment. Like, how do I make a defensive end? So, and Walker, like that's the thing with Walker is Walker doesn't have physical.
He has the production, but he doesn't have the physical size.
If you like that clip, and how could you not? Check out more videos from Toucher and Hardy here. Point slightly up and to the left. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. Point slightly down and to the left. And for the latest from the Sports Hub, download at 985thesportshub.com.